see what you think about the show. So please let me know. Without further ado, let's welcome our guest. Her name is Jade Arthur. How are you doing, my friend?
Hi, Brew. Thank you so much. I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much for being a guest. I was eager to talk to you, get to know you, and for many reasons, right? First of all, you seem like a wonderful person, but you also help developers get jobs in the gaming industry. And oh my God, how do you do that? I need to know because, as far as I know, it's impossible
Oh my
nowadays.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting really bad. All kinds of people in the gaming industry are getting laid off. And I don't help just developers. I help artists, narrative designers, game designers, anybody that really is creative and wants to get into an industry that right now is just like it's just such a struggle. And so I'm there to give them an understanding of maybe things that they're missing to get the attention of recruiters.
Why would you say it's so hard to get a job in the gaming industry nowadays?
Well, companies are laying off people due to AI, like many places. Companies are folding. Their games didn't maybe get the revenue that people were expecting. Even if a game has great reviews, if people aren't buying it, it didn't make back what the investment was. So it's there are so many factors involved here. It's hard to determine, but I think it's companies are taking fewer risks and choosing AI for different positions.
Ooh, fear risks, AI, and man, those games they cost so much. It's like I know for Hollywood for sure, the movies are like big. They're big risks. Every single movie, in my opinion, that Hollywood makes is a gamble, right? They never know if it's gonna pay off. Would you say that's also the case for the gaming industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true for so many artistic industries. You have the best intentions, you know what your audience wants, you know that what you're making is something amazing, but as we've seen, just because something is great doesn't mean it sells, doesn't mean people want it at the time it comes out or even know about it enough to invest their time. So we have movies that come out that are cult favorites years later, and that's probably the same thing with games as well. Sometimes it's just not the right time. It just didn't find the people it needed, and it's a shame because again, you're seeing products coming out that are great, that draw people in, that have rave reviews, but didn't bring in money. And that's just not, doesn't work. I just saw something today about a company that released a Squid Game Unleashed, like a video game of like Squid Game. I haven't played it, but I saw it on LinkedIn, and I think the company shut down, even though the game had great reviews. And it's just like, how sad is that?
Doesn't sound fair. I'm sharing some
Yes,
screenshots here with the
that's the
audience.
game there. Yes.
I mean, it's Squid Game, which is a phenomenon, right? And
Yeah.
looks fun. It's colorful, like Fortnite. So all the players, the the younger players should like it. Like it sounds like a no brainer in my mind. It's just like it's gonna be a hit for sure. And you just told us that the studio shut down.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's what I saw. The company closed. That's what I saw. And it's just like, you know, I don't I don't know if it does it show it in the news there? Because like I said, it is LinkedIn. That's usually pretty true. But I mean, I just don't like again, I think it boils down to people just looking at what they know is going to make enough money sustainably. And yep, there it is, the mobile game studio. Yep. And it's at Netflix. So because Netflix did Squid Game. And yeah, it's just like this is Netflix. And they were like, this wasn't enough for us. So what is? How do you know?
I'm gonna read the news here just for our listeners. Netflix shuts down Squid Game, a mobile game studio. So this is from October. Oh, whoa! It's from this week. You're right. It
Yeah.
just happened. Netflix has shut down Boss Fight Entertainment, the studio behind its hit mobile game based on the Squid Game franchise. The two games the developer has released for the streamer, the Netflix Stories, which has already stopped releasing new titles earlier this year, series, and Squid Game Unleashed will continue to be available via Netflix. So, yeah, great. The game's available, but the studio's gone. What doesn't sound like healthy, like a healthy
Oh,
industry. Yeah.
no.
Oh my god. So, I remember during COVID, right? Uh, so just I think we talked a little bit about it, Jade. But I work in the game industry, right? And at the time, I was at Ubisoft, and
Oh,
in the and things were blooming. Like everyone was playing, everyone was buying games. I remember it's like that's the biggest and best industry in the world. Like nothing can ever go wrong. Because and I also remember looking at the stats at the time, and like there has never been so many gamers before in history, and the and it looks like that's still the case. There's even more gamers nowadays. So would you say that there was like a boom that happened during this time period, specifically because everyone was at home? I think kind of makes sense, right? And now that everyone's back at work, they're I don't know, but at the same time, is there more gamers? Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit confusing.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. When you have time to be playing these games, it makes
Mm.
sense. It's like if you can't go to your job, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
Might as well pick up a game. I don't know the numbers or the statistics like that if there was a boom, but it certainly makes sense to me. After if you're not making any money and you can't go to your job, like you got to do what you have with you. And
yeah.
dusting off an old game for your Switch or your PlayStation may have just sparked something that you'd forgotten about and something nostalgic in you. So, it's I, technology has obviously changed vastly in a
Yeah.
short period of time. And, people want to, figure out how to make this all work. And I think gaming is one of those things that, much like everything else, is figuring out how can we get the people that we need and we want, but also we want AI too. How do we find that balance that's both economical and fair? And like you said, if there's more people that come into it and you've got all this AI, it's like, well, we have a couple of jobs for you, but we also have AI, so it's like we can't hire everybody. It's tough. It's tough to get into an industry like that.
So, what's your views on AI? As far as I know, Elon Musk just announced that he's opening a game studio which will only develop games with AI, as far as I understand. Like, what's your view on the whole AI part?
Well, I mean, I see it like a tool. We use it
So,
for what serves the purpose. I think if things are faster, the same quality, easier, and